If you want to stop bloating once and for all, watch this. Okay, bloating. Who isn't bloating nowadays? People love to blame glyphosates, GMOs, and evil conspiracies. It's not my fault, it's Monsanto. I can't eat salads anymore or I bloat up like a balloon. You want to know what the real causes are? The ones that affect most people? There are a number of reasons. Oh, by the way, if you eat healthy, like me, and you still get bloating, which I had for a while, I'll go over that, you might be shocked and surprised what the biggest cause is. I was bloated for a while and it was driving me nuts. I looked pregnant. I was eating right and trying everything, but nothing helped. It was two things, they were so simple and so stupid. And once I figured out what it was, the bloating stopped overnight. I'll tell you what it was in a minute, but I'm not normal. And most people don't eat super clean, so we'll start with those people first. You want to know what the biggest cause is with most people and what they need to do? Well, number one, stop the carbs, especially refined carbs. This is where everybody moans and goes, oh. Sorry, but this is the biggest reason. Stop the bread, the cereal, the pasta, the pizza, the cookies, the crackers, the muffins, the cakes, the pies, the granola bars, the trail mix. And yes, no sourdough, no Ezekiel, no whole grain or gluten-free. That means nothing baked in an oven. No grains, nothing with wheat, corn, barley, rye, oats, rice, brown rice. It doesn't matter if it's sprouted. If it was baked in an oven, it's dead. It breaks down into sugary, sticky paste in the body, and that spikes insulin and turns into fat and feeds bacteria, yeast, mold, fungus, parasites, cancer, all of which create gas as they eat it, and it makes you bloated and toxic. It creates inflammation. It soaks up stomach acid and feeds bad bacteria like H. pylori, which lowers stomach acid even more because H. pylori wants to survive, so it creates ammonia to neutralize the stomach acid, so that creates more gas and allows other bacteria, viruses, and pathogens to pass through the stomach unharmed and go down into your 30 feet of small intestine, also known as SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Again, if your stomach isn't properly digesting food, it's going to go through your whole body, only partially digested, and it's fermenting all the way. And a lot of people have indigestion and heartburn and think it's from having too much stomach acid, when in fact it's the opposite that's the case, where you have too little stomach acid. Too much stomach acid is actually pretty rare. What's actually happening is most people actually have low stomach acid from eating too many carbs. Bread soaks up stomach acid like a sponge, and it feeds yeast, also which lowers stomach acid and weakens the upper stomach sphincter valve, allowing stomach acid to spill up into the esophagus, which is not protected. And even though the stomach acid is weak, it's still acid, and the esophagus cannot handle acid of any level, so it burns, and people think that's heartburn. So they take antacids, which weakens the stomach acid even more, making things worse. The food doesn't digest, so that food then goes through the intestines undigested, fermenting all the way, and it just creates all this mess and this gas. Stop calcium pills, stop antacids and alkaline water. It neutralizes stomach acid. If your stomach acid is low from all that bread, wheat, and cereal and granola bars, then your food isn't going to properly digest, so it'll ferment in the small intestine and breed bacteria where bacteria shouldn't be. The stomach acid is supposed to kill all the bad bacteria before it gets into you. So now you have fermenting food and bacteria in the 30 feet of small intestine, and that bacteria thrives on three things: carbohydrates, fiber, and sugar. Anything that eats also poops and burps and belches, which creates gas and bloating. So all that bacteria in there is pooping and burping and belching, creating gas. One sign that you have SIBO is when you take probiotics, fermented foods, and salads, it makes you worse. So you must stop the carbs and the sugar. Try water fasting for a while to starve and weaken those buggers. Not fruit juices, I mean water fasting. And then when the bacteria had nothing to eat and it's weak, take the parasite formula for a couple of months to finish them off. If you don't want to fast, then at least try to take some apple cider vinegar with either water or in your food to increase the stomach acid. But no matter what, you must stop the bread, the pasta, the pizza, the cookies, the crackers, the cereal, and the sugar and everything else. High-carb, low-fat diets also result in bile levels, which are low, which results in cholesterol sludge and gallstones clogging up the ducts. If you're burping or belching along with your bloating, your liver and gallbladder may not be producing enough bile to help break down the fats, and the dehydrated bile then starts turning into sludge and eventually hardens into gallstones. If this is happening, you might feel a discomfort on your right side below your lower rib here. One of the biggest causes of almost all modern health problems: diabetes, heart disease, liver disease, kidney disease, cancer, bad eyesight, low energy, endometriosis, fibroids, mucus, weak immune system, and on, is refined carbs. The three worst foods that cause problems are refined carbs, dairy, and refined oils. Almost everything you eat has refined seed oil: safflower, sunflower, soy, corn, canola, grapeseed, cottonseed, vegetable oil, cooking oil. Read the ingredients and everything you eat. I'll bet you it's in there. And that is what's in all restaurant and grocery store salad dressings. It royally messes up your gut. Stop buying salad dressings. Make your own with cold-pressed virgin olive oil and some apple cider vinegar. And of course, alcohol and smoking and not moving your body enough, but you already know all that. So, of course, any kind of sugar is in the carb category. This includes fruit juice because the fiber has been thrown out and the sugars are now concentrated. I talked about this in the last video. Even fructose gets turned into glucose in the body, and glucose triggers insulin. Never juice fruit. Eat it whole, but don't juice it. If you have bloating, then stop all the sweet fruits for a while, especially watermelon, mangoes, bananas, grapes, and especially raisins, and dried fruit like figs and apricots, and trail mix with dried banana chips and raisins. Okay, so stop all the refined carbs. Just do it, okay? Do you want to get rid of the bloating or not? Are you tired of looking pregnant all the time? Then just do it. Stop the carbs and anything sweet, at least for a while. Stop snacking all day long, which leads to insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome, endothelial dysfunction, as in inflammation of the arteries, which leads to plaque, calcium deposits, clogged arteries, heart attacks, and strokes. Stop snacking between meals. Get out of the kitchen and go keep yourself busy doing something productive. Go fix something, go build something, go help someone. But get out of the kitchen. Eat only twice a day, not 3 times a day. Don't snack between meals, no matter what. And when you do eat, don't eat carbs. Even better, stop eating for a couple of days or a week. Your body has well over 100,000 calories of stored fuel. If you don't believe me, Google it. The typical body has over 100,000 calories of stored fuel, and you only use up 2,000 a day. And I don't mean juice fasting, only water fasting. It resets everything. Fasting resets everything. But don't do fasting if you're underweight and super skinny, obviously. Now, I know many of you don't want to fast. You love your food too much. Okay, then at least control what you eat. Take digestive enzymes with your food, which can help your pancreas. If you're taking probiotics and fermented foods like sauerkraut and salads and you feel better, you probably don't have SIBO, and your problem is probably in your large intestine and your colon, which leads to the second biggest cause of bloating and gas. And that is constipation. Almost everybody says they are not constipated, but believe it or not, almost everybody who has gas and bloating is. You can poop every day and still be constipated. If your poop is thin and narrow strands like the width of your finger and not big, giant, fat, long Oktoberfest sausages, then you're probably constipated. That's a good sign right there. If it's thin and not fat and long sausages, you're constipated. And you shouldn't have to push it. It should be effortless and it should come out on its own. And if you poop again like a few hours later, then you didn't fully evacuate the first time. That's a sign of constipation. Farting is another sign. Gastroenterologists will all tell gastroenterologists will tell you almost every single person who is constipated has gas and bloating. Are you drinking enough water? Are you moving your body enough? Or are you just sitting all day? The first thing you should do when you get up in the morning is drink a huge glass of water, like 12 to 16 ounces, then go for a 30-minute walk to get things moving. And if you're close to healthy, you should go to the bathroom the minute you come in from that walk. All right, most people don't drink enough water, which results in constipation. And coffee doesn't count. Actually, helps to hydrate you. So what gums you up? Carbs and dairy. Stop the bread and the cheese and the creamy white sauces and salad dressings, and yes, even the yogurt. Dairy is glue, and so is bread. Most people have a damaged gut. They have the wrong bacteria and lots of inflammation from eating the wrong foods. Insulin resistance and being overweight are huge contributing factors. Not enough fiber is a huge factor. You need fiber to clean your insides and help push things through. Animal products have zero fiber. Even people on the carnivore diet need to have fiber of some kind. Dairy is glue. Stop dairy and artificial sweeteners like xylitol, sorbitol, mannitol, and maltodextrin. Many people who say they can't handle fiber because it makes them bloat are almost always constipated and have damaged gut in most cases. Fiber is exactly what they need to help heal their gut. We do not have enzymes to break down plant fiber, that's true, but our good gut probiotics do. In fact, they have thousands of different enzymes to break down fiber. And the irony is if you don't eat raw plants, you won't have enough of the good probiotics. Cooking food kills them. Animal products don't have any enzymes that can break down fiber. If you don't want colon cancer, you must start introducing raw plant fiber into your diet. You might want to start slow, but you got to start, even if you start in small amounts. People love to say that they can't have fiber because it makes them bloat, so they avoid salads and greens. Funny, they'll eat sweet fruit because of the sugar, but they won't eat salads because, well, it's just not as much fun. So they blame fiber. Stop blaming fiber. Did you have antibiotics in the last year? Well, guess what? It kills probiotics. And probiotics is what you need for a healthy gut that doesn't bloat. And the main food supply of probiotics is fiber. So why did you need antibiotics? Well, you got sick, right? So why were you sick? Because you were eating bread, pasta, pizza, cookies, crackers, cereal, alcohol, dairy, and sugar. And the tannins in coffee kills probiotics too, by the way. Oh, but people like to blame the fiber. Sure, salads can make you bloat because you don't have any of the right probiotics left that feed on fiber. You killed them with antibiotics, and you feed the bad bacteria with sugar and carbs. You need to reintroduce fresh, raw plant foods that contain probiotics and enzymes. Stop cooking all your food and eat the way nature intended. You might have to avoid high histamine foods for a while, like alcohol, vinegar, chocolate, and tomatoes. Ketchup, for example, is tomatoes, vinegar, and sugar. High histamines. Histamine intolerance means a damaged, leaky gut. Most important is stopping the bad foods. Again, carbs, dairy, and sugar, and refined vegetable oils. Take some magnesium to help get things moving, like magnesium glycinate, citrate, or carbonate. Another huge factor is stress. Stress alone can make you bloat. I noticed this personally. I remember waking up one day, I had a flat stomach, I looked really good. Then something happened and I got really stressed. And I noticed within an hour, I looked pregnant. And I didn't eat or drink anything. It was just the stress. It just bloated me out like that. Stress screws everything up more than you'll ever know. It can even kill you. Sunlight and walking reduces cortisol and stress. Stop eating 3 hours before bed and go to bed between 9 and 10. Stop coffee, energy drinks, alcohol. Eat cultured fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, natto, and stuff like that. Do not eat yogurt from dairy. Dairy constipates and causes inflammation. Make your own coconut yogurt or cashew yogurt or coconut kefir. Chew your food properly. That's another reason people get gas and bloating, because the food isn't properly broken down. Walk a lot. Get sunlight. You need sunlight for the hormones that help this process. You need fiber and lots of water between meals. And that brings me to the final issue for people who are super clean, healthy, and stress-free and still have bloating. This single thing alone can dramatically reduce bloating almost overnight. Ready? Stop drinking while eating. Drink a bunch of water an hour before you eat, and then don't drink anything for 2 hours after you eat. You can take some tiny sips, to help wash down your food while you're eating, but that's it. But drink a lot between your meals. Try it. You'll be amazed. And while you're drinking all that water, you can also take some charconite capsules to help absorb all that gas inside you. Remember to drink a bunch of water with charconite. And the other thing is, believe it or not, swallowing air. If you drink through a straw, you are sucking air because the top half of the straw is air. And when you start sucking your straw, you're pulling that air in there and you are sucking it into your body. Carbonated drinks, chewing gum, sucking on food, eating too fast, gulping your food, which everybody does, right? They're always in a hurry. They don't think while they eat. They don't take their time. So gulping your food, you're swallowing air. Anxiety and stress all can make you swallow air, which leads to gas and bloating. You probably do it more than you think. That was one of my problems. I love to drink 4 or 5 iced teas with a straw with my meals because I live in the desert. It's hot and I'm so busy, I usually don't eat or drink anything between meals. And then when I eat, I drink also everything all at once. All that water was diluting my stomach and my food wasn't digesting properly. When I finally stopped drinking with my meals and I drank a lot between my meals, like an hour before and 2 hours after, wow, my bloating stopped overnight and I didn't look pregnant anymore. And my other reason was stress. I mean, everybody has their issues for that. But with most people, it's carbs, dairy, seed and cooking oils, alcohol, coffee, and sugar. The answer isn't what to take. The answer is, once again, is what to stop doing. And that means changing what you eat. And it's usually stuff you're addicted to. Sorry, but that's the hard reality. Bloating is just one symptom. Take it seriously. Eating refined carbs and bad oils doesn't just cause bloating. It causes inflammation, which creates plaque in your arteries, which leads to heart attacks and strokes. It creates insulin resistance, which leads to diabetes, and it feeds cancer. Stop trying to hide superficial stuff like bloating and start taking your overall health and longevity more seriously. That bread and dairy and sugar and alcohol just isn't worth it. Your happiness and health is. I'll see you in the next video.